Don't buy a don't buy a puppy for your kid or a dog. Lesson 1.
Hey guys. Okay, so I just want to talk about something really important today.
Me and Mommy.
Yes. Parents. I know.
Parents at home.
But in all seriousness, this is really important. When you are starting the journey of getting your kid a service dog,
Do
go ahead.
not
It's okay. What do you think?
do not it on it parent. If you have a third dog that is like 1 or 2 or 3 or 5, do not
You mean a kid?
like a kid like 1 and 5 and this is my boy that tried my third dog and whenever I like deep, he like go on me, but he don't feel too good.
Today, because he went to the vet, had some vaccines.
But tomorrow he not have to feel too good.
Hey.
This is the time. And my mom said you talk.
Okay. So, as I was saying, hey buddy, he went to the vet today, so he's feeling a little bit more subdued. And he's going to need some rest, and he's not feeling 100%.
He need rest
because he had to have some vaccines.
He need rest tomorrow.
But straight to the point. So many people, when you're starting the journey to get a service dog for your child, will kind of jump the gun before doing the research. It's an expression, baby. And you'll go ahead and get a puppy. Or a friend will tell you, oh, here, buy this puppy, or this, or a trainer friend, or even a,
or maybe like a trainer, or like
a basic,
or like if you like
obedience trainer is very willing to say, or a breeder will say, buy our puppy and you can train it. We'll give you a discounted rate, or they may even give you the puppy, thinking that they're doing a great thing.
And we are doing.
Huh?
We are doing.
I promise I'll get to the point here in a minute.
I do want to say something.
That's okay. Go ahead. You tell them whatever you want to tell them.
Like my mom said, if you like, what do you say?
Well, I almost did the same thing. Getting a service dog is a long process, right?
A lot of process. Like,
a lot of work.
You have to go to trainer. You have to train your dog. They have to train the dog, and then just don't train. Don't train with at doggy school.
He was at doggy school for a long time, right?
And me and Mommy what? And guys, if you are there to our White Joe Festival. Sorry, my
Sonny hit our camera. Okay, guys. Take 2. Sonny knocked the tripod.
Yeah.
Anyway, our daughter's service dog, Sunshine, it took us a couple years to get through the process. When I was researching the process of getting a service dog, there are some really fast, easy avenues, and where you end up having a failed service dog. Now, there's some great service dogs who have come from where you get a dog and you try to train it yourself, but that's more for adults. I don't recommend that, researching it, going through the process ourselves. But in our experience and learning a lot through this last couple of years, we would tell you parents, I'm talking to you, who have just been told that your kid would benefit from getting a service dog. Do not. Just go out here and be impatient or not know enough about it. Research it. Don't just go with any dog trainer. Look, any dog breed can be a service dog, but not every dog within that breed can be a service dog. There's so much that goes into training a service dog, especially when you're talking about kids. Sorry, I'm going to scooch here in the middle so you can see me a little bit better. But we have talked to other families who've had failed service dog experiences. And most of those where they went ahead and got a puppy that they thought was a good breed or a nice little puppy and thought they could train it to save money, because a service dog can be hard work, but 10, 15, 25, $50,000 depending on what the dog is trained to do. When I first heard those prices, I was like, are you kidding me? What in the world is that money for? But now that I've been through the process, you know, there are children that have mobility issues. There are children who are blind who need a dog to be trained to be their eyes for them. There are children like our daughter who has epilepsy and seizure alert and response. Yes, you. She's on the swing over here. And, you know, it's a huge process. If your child has autism or Down syndrome or, you know, there's cerebral palsy, you know, each dog has to be trained for certain tasks for their kiddo. And even deeper than that, they have to be a good match. Not every dog in a litter or rescued will have the temperament for your kid. There's genetics, there's behaviors, there's just so much involved in it. So the experience that we have had is families have come to us at Hope for Sunshine, because we are Hope for Sunshine, the nonprofit that offers grants to help families offset the cost of service dogs. But we're also a family with special needs kids, and our youngest particular having pretty significant special needs. So we're talking to you as another family from our experience. You have to choose wisely. You're going to have to do your research, reach out to others, and ask questions. Not every dog trainer is qualified to be a service dog trainer. You're going to have lots of people who will tell you that they know a trainer, and even lots of training places will say, yeah, we can train your service dog. And a lot of them, because there are very few who actually train service dogs in the United States. There's really not as many as you think. This is based on my own 2 years of research, so you have to be vigilant. They will tell you, yeah, we'll do it, and because they want to, out of the goodness of their heart, you know, help families who have special needs kids, they will discount their training rate. But what most of them mean is they will train for basic obedience. And that's not enough. That's okay. He's okay. Sunshine's on downtime right now, so he's kind of playing in the yard a little bit. And he gets into mischief a little bit. But anyway, so training, you know, make sure that you're vetting the dog trainers. Sometimes you'll find a dog trainer / breeder. That is what we were able to do. We found a very reputable place near us who had been doing it for years and had started off with another training place. You know, so we've learned a lot, not just from them, but our own research. I will tell you, before we got Sunshine, a dog breeder had offered us a dog for free, which was lovely. Before we accepted the dog, I was still doing research. And I asked them, did they have experience, you know, with the dog personalities for certain things. And they were a lovely breeder, but they did not have the experience that I was looking for. Not anything negative. Hi. Sorry, Sonny is coming back to say hey. He's got little flowers in his hair. You can't see that, but he's so cute. Anyway, but not anything negative. They were a great dog breeder. It's just specifically there's certain things when you're looking for seizure response, when you're vetting puppies and certain temperaments with certain kids with special needs. You know, you got to be really on point with doing the vetting of a litter. They have to be a certain age, and there's just certain things. And I'm not a dog trainer.
I'm not.
But we have worked with a wonderful one, and I've talked to so many.
Katie.
Yes. So, anyway, as a parent, my advice to you, and as our nonprofit, Hope for Sunshine, do not
4.
just go out. Yeah, Hope for the number 4 sunshine.org. Don't just go out and buy a puppy and think, I'm going to save some money. Or most families that I know, at least for us too, when you have a special needs kids, we've got occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy. Our daughter had open heart surgery 18 months ago. We've been in and out of the hospital and driving 3 hours to the children's hospital, all of those things. And, we're barely keeping our head above water. I certainly did not have time or the knowledge to train a dog, a puppy of any kind. But besides that, it wasn't just basic obedience training. Well, hold on a minute. Maddie's chasing a butterfly, and Sonny started chasing it with her. I wish I could have caught that on camera. It was so cute. Anyway.
He can't chase butterflies.
No, you can, but he doesn't know not to eat it. Anyway.
Yeah, because he might do it.
That's right. Anyway, back to what I was saying, though, is don't jump the gun in your excitement, in your desperation to get a service dog to help your child, and don't become overwhelmed by the, oh my goodness, to get a service dog it's going to be $25,000 or $50,000 or $15,000 and panic. Sorry. Yeah, we're doing this outside because it's such a pretty day. But sometimes a car will pass. So when I know a car is going to pass, so you can hear me better,
we always
I just pause it.
Yeah, we
Yeah. Anyway, so don't go out here and just buy a puppy thinking, I'm going to save the money. And what you're really doing is creating more work for yourself and a headache. That unless you have an only child and unless you're, I'm not saying every case, but in most cases, you're going to end up with a failed service dog. Not because the dog is not necessarily a good dog, it's going to make a wonderful pet, but because, let's be real, do you have the time to devote to training the puppy and beyond basic obedience? I mean, anybody, I guess, could buy out the time to do basic obedience. It's okay, you can stop it because there's a car coming. Another car, and I think there's a jet. But anyway.
Sorry. We really want to do it outside, but there's too
many cars. Anyway. So please do your research. When you call trainers, and when you call a breeder, and they say, well, if they do training or they don't do training, if somebody tries to give you a dog or gives you a discount on a dog, doesn't mean that can't work out. But I would tread lightly. I would do my research. Make sure that if a breeder is willing to donate a dog, and there are some reputable breeders who can do that, and it'd be great, but make sure that if before you get that puppy, that whatever training place you're going to work with does the vetting of that puppy to make sure it's a good match for your kid, your kiddo's temperament, and the special needs of your child. The lesson we learned ourselves from personal experience was, in one litter, you can have some great pets. You could have therapy dogs. You could have a great mobility dog. You could have a rescue dog. I mean, so please, parents, don't be impatient. It is so worth the research, right?
Yeah.
Was Sunshine worth the wait?
Yeah. Yeah.
He was worth the wait.
But
he's precious. But even with him coming home,
it's
and
wonderful.
There's a whole story
it's
there.
Wonderful.
We'll do another video about Sunshine's personal story.
Today.
Yeah.
Right.
But don't just go out. Reach out to us at hopeforsunshine.org. And
number
we can,
4.
Yeah, number 4. And we'll talk to you about our experience. If you would like, do your own research if you have the time on service dogs. Canine Companions I was reading on them. They're a wonderful resource. There's a huge waiting list, and they cover the entire dog. Believe you me, if we could have worked with them, but there was such a long waiting list, and you know, we love them. Canine Companions is a wonderful resource. They, as you know, they provide the puppies and the training. They are highly, highly qualified. We're new to the nonprofit world, but we are our grassroots nonprofit where we want to offer grants. We do not do the training, but we do want to offer grant money to families like ours to help get you started, because we are so small that we can't pay for the whole dog yet, but that's what we hope for in the future. But what we can do is tell you our experience, and what we can do is help you find a trainer that can help you train the dog that you need for your child. But don't buy the dog first. Don't buy the dog first. That is our advice. I hope that made sense. I'm a little scatterbrained out here, but, trying to tell you all this, I should have written down my thoughts better. But the reason that I did this impromptu video to talk to y'all about this is because we had a family reach out to us recently.
And,
to ask for our help in looking at a grant for the deposit for their dog. Or for training for their dog. What we do is we offer grant money for the deposit once you're matched with a dog for a training facility.
Yeah.
But they had already got a puppy.
Like a puppy. A puppy.
A lot of training places will not work with a family to do service dog training. They'll do obedience training, but they can't vet the dog like that, or they can't guarantee it's going to work out for it to be a service dog. There's a lot of factors, so a lot of times the training places won't necessarily train a puppy you pick out for service dog training. They'll give it basic obedience training. But look, there is a rare gem out there or an oddity who may say, yeah, we'll train it as a service dog. Now, make sure that they specialize in that.
Yeah.
I want to do another video later. Please check back with us where I break that down a little bit more. I'm going to work on that to get all of the facts together in kind of a bullet point format for you guys. But from one mom to another, and from Hope for Sunshine, when you reach out to us for a grant,
Emmy,
we need to make sure that we are supporting you in the healthiest, best way possible. And as a family with special needs children who's been through this, my advice to you is do not just go out and get a puppy or accept a puppy, even though it's so tempting. We almost did the same thing.
Yeah.
But it turns out that the trainer that they worked with or that they recommended, yeah, they didn't do service dog training. So we would have just had a really well-trained pet. And that's kind of the problem a lot of times nowadays with service dogs, legitimate service dogs, and then not legitimate service dogs. And we didn't want to contribute to that. And we wanted to make sure that whatever service dog we had for our child was fully trained and vetted to meet the needs of our daughter. So we did not choose to go that way with going ahead and getting a puppy ourselves. Some of you may say that that worked out for you. That is wonderful, but some kiddos have pretty extensive special needs, and we weren't willing to roll the dice. But when you could reach out to us, Hope for Sunshine, and you want a grant for a service dog, we want to do that. But we want to make sure that we're recommending and giving you grant money for a legitimate service dog trainer. So please don't buy the puppy beforehand and then reach out to us. Please don't buy the puppy beforehand just because someone or donates one. Just say, thank you for that. Let us get back with you. And then do your research. Reach out to several service dog trainers. Reach out to us. We will help you. We'll talk to you about it.
Sunshine.
You and Sunshine. But that's what this video is for.
Make sure to hit the subscribe button and watch that trainer. Hope for Sunshine.
Oh, yes. Hit the subscribe button. Like our video. and follow us on the rest of our journey with Hope for Sunshine.
Bye.